0 to 1/4 inch chuck. Oh, that's a nice little find right there. Just clean that up a little bit. Oh, all right. I like that. And then there's this one here, quite a bit of rust on it. It's got a Morse taper sleeve adapter. Oh, so I guess I actually have 3 Morse taper sleeve adapters. I think I had mentioned that before, right? This one's going to need a little bit more love if it's going to be used at all. The jaws aren't broken. They're just rustificated. And let's see if I can make out who makes this chuck. I just give it a quick brushing with a small wire brush. And I can just make out the word Hartford is kind of damaged on one side there, but I can make out the Jacobs Manufacturing Company. I can't see the size on it. I don't even know if it was listed on there. We'll say this, though. It didn't take much working back and forth. Just a little spray of PB Blaster on the jaws. And this is actually, I wouldn't exactly call it smooth, because I'm not getting anything down into the scroll as far as that lubricant goes, but it's showing signs of life. And the jaws don't look too bad on that one. Not as nice as the other one. Yeah, what do you want for next to nothing? Here's the next batch of stuff I fished out of there. These are stones. They're actually, that one's in pretty good shape actually. That one's that's a Norton stone. That is one of the earliest Norton stones I've ever seen. I've never seen a Norton stone with embossed the way that is, like this is. Yeah, so somewhere underneath all this filth there's actually an abrasive. You see you can see that's on the edge there. That's just years of just being rubbed up against the cutting edge to make it keen. And then we got some stuff that, again, to the untrained eye might just be a pile of crap, but you gotta keep an eye out. There's another spring. That's kind of bent. We'll throw it in the spring box. Here's a tap wrench. Looks like a pretty run-of-the-mill, nothing too fancy. And this is marked, oh, this is a Craftsman. It's marked VM12-5/16. 5 mil to 8 mil. That's a Craftsman tap wrench. There's a lot in the tray. We're going to look at what's left in the tray in a moment. And there's a lot of little pieces of tooling. But there's some decent sized pieces left in there that could still be used. There's one there, high speed steel. This one's got a nice radius ground on it. Here's one, looks like cemented carbide. This is a carbaloy. I could probably still use that if I wanted to. Oh, I could even use the Hammond to grind that if I wanted to. Oh, let's see. Yeah, there's a brand new 1/4 inch blank. Momax, Cleveland. So if you have a really small lathe, these are nice to have. I only found 2, but I did find 2 carbide inserts. It's a pretty good size insert there. Solid carbide. This caught my eye because this, to me, looks like it may very well be from a planer gauge. If you've ever seen a planer gauge, typically there'll be 1 or 2 of these that come with it, and this should be a very definite length, which it is. It's 2 inches on the dot, so I'm pretty sure that that's what that is. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that that is for a planer gauge. The only thing is, there's no way of knowing, unfortunately, there's no way of knowing what planer gauge it fits. It also looks like it was made to have, yeah, there's a threaded hole in the top there. Made to have another one stacked on top of it. I think they do come with more than one, now that I think of it. Somewhere I've got one of these planer gauges. There is a hole indicator tool for, what the hell you call this thing? So I'm pretty sure it's a Starrett. The idea is that you're supposed to, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to be able to reach into a bore with this and indicate the bore, and then this little shoe right here will actually push on your indicator. So this turns an indicator, an outside indicator, into an inside indicator, right? Follow me there? Anyways, you don't see these used a lot now, I don't think. But a lot of indicator sets like Starrett would come with these in the box. Sometimes they're missing. I think you can also buy them separately. Don't know if this would be marked, even if it is a Starrett. Yeah, I can't find any markings on it. But that's what that is. This, first I was like, oh, it's a hunk of brass. It's got a couple holes in it. And then I looked at it real closely and realized, oh, that's a diamond on the end there. So this is almost like a diamond dressing tool, like a grinding wheel dressing tool. But I'm not quite sure why this is brass. And the way that this has flats ground into the side with these holes. Kind of a mystery. But there's every indication that that's an industrial diamond on the tip there. Almost looks like a little micrometer wrench. Probably not, though. Well, maybe. That is a hole punch. A very small one. Found another one of these. That's for a small one. Matter of fact, that might actually work on this one. Let's see. Yep, that's what that is. Now see how nice and clean that Morse taper is on there, because it's been protected. This is a indicator clamp for like a surface gauge or an indicator stand. It's missing the whole spring and thumb wheel and screw. This intrigues me. This almost appears like it's half of a very small planer gauge. I don't know, it's got a number 7 on the inside here. Boy, this looks real familiar to me. So this, yeah, see that right there doesn't seem to want to move. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. But unlike a planer gauge, I would expect this piece right here to, well, see, now that doesn't, that was just stuck in there. I thought that would tighten up, but it doesn't. Huh. And then I found this, and I thought, well, maybe this is part of this. Oh, wait, we might be onto something here. That goes in there like that. Let's see, if I unscrew this far enough, will that go back in there? Hell yeah. Kind of hard to work the little thumb screw there. That's what that is. That looks like a really small planer gauge. An adjustable height block, I guess you could call it. But anyways, that's kind of a neat little find right there. I'm glad both pieces were in that tray. But that's what that is. So You basically, you could use this, you could set this surface, any one of these surfaces right here, you could set that to a very definitive height off of a surface plate using gauge blocks and sweeping with an indicator back and forth off of this to the gauge block. And once you've got it set, then you can take that over to your table on your mill, and Bob's your uncle. Uncle Bob. Anyways, that's a neat little gizmo there. Too bad it's not marked. Anywho, I have no idea what this is. Must have had a very special purpose. We've got a slot and a hole at the end of the slot, so it's almost a keyhole. It's got a hole in it, so it can either be fastened down, or maybe that's just so it can be hung on something. This looks familiar to me too, but it's not coming to me exactly what this is for. And it is clearly marked 0.355, so it's not the slot, must be the hole. No, it's not. Alright. I thought that said 355. It's marked 355, but it's measuring 351.5 here in the slot. Well, anyways, does anybody know what the hell that is? And then I saw this little thing right here. This is a neat little looking knife or something. What do we got here? What the hell is that? What the heck? That's too small to be a bottle opener, right? Little blade. Let's see what that says. That just says stainless. It's like a very, very super cheesy plastic on this, though, which makes me think it's not that great. There's another one there. Alright, what am I missing here? What the hell is this? Might be able to get a bottle open with that side. I don't know what the hell you do with that side. Is that oh, is that a really old can opener? God, remember the old, I don't know if anybody watching would remember, but way back, years ago, they used to have can openers that had kind of a weird shape like that on the end, and you would actually punch into the can and rock it back and forth and actually open a can. No maker on that either. That's just an old... so, let's see. That's pretty much all that's left. There's some... That looks like a feeler gauge. A grinding wheel. There's little pieces like this I could use as shim stock. There's another remnants of another stone. There's a little Stanley 6-foot tape measure. Boy, that's seen some action. Look how worn that is. Oh, look at that. Attachment for a hole gauge that is nowhere to be found in here. Oh, ball bearing. Put that one where the ball bearings. I don't know what that's for. Another one there. Alright, so I think that's about it. Oh, there's one of those adapters for one of those universal AC to DC wall plugs. Oh, what's that? Nothing. So before I wrap this up and call it a night, let me show you the one other item I got from that estate. And this was sitting on the garage floor, and when I inquired about it, They actually said, they said they were going to throw it out so I could have it. So this is a freebie. It's a really old little outboard motor. And it's seen better days. It's in rough shape. And it's seized up tight. Flywheel won't move. I haven't determined yet who makes this. This tube is pretty damaged right here. It's really dented and banged. I got a feeling it might have been like that for a while and that they might have continued to use it. There's a hole right here facing down. Almost appears to me like maybe that's for water to come back out. So I think this tube right here on the side is probably the supply tube. So there must be some sort of a little water pump in the bottom here. There's clearly an exhaust port right here. And it looks like there's an inlet right here. So water must come in through here. There must be a water pump impeller inside here. Pumps it up through this tube. Cools the little motor, and then it comes back out and returns. Just shoots down. There's actually quite a following of people who like to collect these old outboard motors. So I'm glad I saved this from the dumpster, even though it's in really tough shape. It's got a place for a rope to be wrapped on the top here. Oh, actually, there's the name right there. So this is an Evinrude. Almost looks like it says Alto below it. E-L-T-O. Evinrude Alto, made in Milwaukee. Evinrude Outboard Motors. Huh. So this could quite possibly morph into a whole nother project. Because, well, that's what I need is more projects. Anyways. Oh, I can just hear the rust falling around inside that tank. Yep, my son has already seen this thing and already been asking me about whether or not I was going to work on this. So I think this is something he's going to want to work on with me, which is that alone could be worth the effort. So, anyways, oh, looks like something's missing here. Uh-oh. Parts missing. Wonder what went through there. Well, let's see. That would have been a handle, I bet. Bet you the handle came out over here. Because it just occurred to me, if you put this thing on the boat, how the heck are you going to turn it? Or is that, maybe that's what this is? No, this is, what the hell is this? It's almost like going to change the timing. Well, alright. We're not going to mess with this too much. I just kind of wanted to show that this is something I picked up as a freebie here. Guess I'll Google that tonight. Oh, let me see. Was this? Oh, yeah, there was couple other little items I just want to show you real quick because I'm going to wrap this up. I picked up this tap wrench. I think I might have gotten this at the tractor show, believe it or not, back in the fall. And it fell down and got stuck under the seat in my Dodge Dakota. And this is a Greenfield tap and die number 5 tap wrench. I have no idea what I paid for this. I'm sure I probably got this for like $1 or $2, some crazy cheap price, because otherwise I wouldn't have bought it. It actually works really smooth though, and this will clean up pretty nicely, I think. So that's a pretty nice tap wrench actually. And I can't remember where I got this from, but I just thought I'd show it. This is a step drill. I don't know what this white stuff is all about. I don't know if somebody was using this on tile or what. This is a step drill. This is good for drilling thin material. This is a Unibit 2 Cobra USA. And I just thought I'd show that. Thought it was an interesting one. Lately there's been, all of a sudden, everybody is showing their step drills, it appears. And they tend to be showing the cheap-ass step drill that they're buying from Banggood. You guys heard of this company, Banggood? Sounds like an Asian, well, I don't want to say. Anyways, Banggood Industries. They got all kinds of cheap stuff. imported Asian cheap stuff. And they do have some cutters and things like that. So anyways, so that is a Unibit Cobra. Huh. And then hit the used tool store this past week. And the table was at $1. All items were $1. And weeded through quite a bit of crap. Didn't see anything I liked. Found this and bought this for a whole $1. And this is, well, what is it? I don't know. As a matter of fact, this might be a perfect thing for Mr. Pete for his What Is It series, right? If anybody knows what the heck this is, feel free to let me know in the comments. But it's not marked with a manufacturer's name anywhere. It has these 2 blue bars with these locating pins, and the bars are able to swivel a little bit, so that gives you a little bit of leeway with alignment. And then they're attached to this, to these threaded rods that go into the centerpiece. But one side of this is left-hand thread and one side is right-hand thread. So when you turn this centerpiece, you're able to spread these 2 bars apart and then bring them back together. So this appears to be almost like some sort of puller for pulling, maybe for pulling something together, maybe even holding it together when you're when you're working on it. I don't know. But I would love to know what the heck that's for. I'm sure the reason why it was on the dollar table is because I bet you the owner of the store didn't know what it was for either. And the only thing that's marked on it is Pat Pending USA, but no patent number. Important, hand tighten plus 1/3 turn. And this says the same thing here. Important, hand tighten plus 1/3 turn. Almost like what they tell you with an oil filter, right? So they're basically saying that when you pull this together, you get it hand tight and you put a wrench on there and give it 1/3 of a turn, and that's it. Do not know what that is. All right, that's going to conclude this little, I don't know how many parts this is going to be, but anyways, have a good one. I'm thinking I could wish you a Merry Christmas, but this might not even hit the air until after then. So if that's the case, belated Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, and look forward to seeing you guys in the new year, 2019.